By the way, which way are you leaning, BYU or Tech?
Tech.
You are leaning Tech.
Even though it came out today, LJ is going to play. Allegedly.
Yeah, LJ Martin may play.
Allegedly.
Relax, jerky.
Allegedly.
Hey, Joey, how's Baron Morton?
We have some guys that have, do advanced analytics for us and everything like that. And it's like, okay, in this game, the percentage of winning when you go out there like Oklahoma State, nothing against them, but the percentage of him going out there versus Will going out there or Mitch going out there, there was not very much difference whatsoever. So you're like, does it make sense? Because Baron wants to play, and he's a different person whenever it comes to, he's got a high pain tolerance, he's really tough. Some of it was kind of protecting him from him and then understanding. So I think that Arizona State, it was the last game of the year, and it was, we're coming into that game, and you didn't have the games after that. He probably would have fought me to get out there and maybe, giving it a try. But being able to have a couple weeks to get ready for this game, it's definitely helped him, and he feels really good.
I'm leaning Tech all day. I think this is going to be a one-score game, and I think we're past the zero blitz in overtime in Laramie. We're no longer doing that. And I think oh God, I can't remember what was the Christian school or the local school that put up like 50 points on Tech last year?
Abilene.
Abilene.
Boy.
I think we're past those days.
I would agree.
Tech. So I feel like when you're a 10.5 point home favorite, I would lay the points on BYU, but take Tech to win the game.
Yeah.
That's what it feels
completely.
like. And
yeah,
I'm really, my focus this week, honestly, is going to be really trying to understand how good or bad Baron Morton is. Because Tech fan swears up and down that he's a big swinging dick, and the guy just throws it with three arms and three legs, and that he's America's quarterback because God said so. Brother. And I love all the Tech fans who are like, you just hate Tech, Monty, you're jealous.
Why does Monty hate Texas Tech and our tortilla throwing tradition? And didn't he see the video of the Kansas, sideline and the pocket knife? And he
Lance Leitold. Lance Leitold.
Yeah, I mean, how can you trust Lance Leitold? He's one of them. He's one of them libs. Come on. Come on, bro.
I said yesterday that I was apolitical, meaning I don't really support either party.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of hate I got over that. You're a goddamn Republican.
And I'll see you in Valhalla.
You're a libtard. Okay.
You're a Democrat. You're responsible for the government shutdown, Morty.
One guy said, if you listen to this show for any amount of time, you know which way you lean. Okay.
Okay, bro.
I lean to the humans. But I'm leaning more Tech. I think Tech at home, this defense, I think that place is going to be lit, even though it's going to be 8 a.m. I think that game kicks off at 7 a.m. I could be wrong.
Yeah, set your alarms.
I want to see Bear Bachmeier play loose and free football in this game. Because it's truly, in every game heretofore, will be the biggest game of the year. But this is
it. You win this game, you really should be fine. And that's for both sides.
You win this game. It's an elimination game for Tech. I think if they lose this game, there's a chance that Baron Morton disappears. And Tyler Shook, you will beg him to come back to school. Okay, I probably shouldn't say that out loud. But this is one of those games, again, where Baron has a chance to really prove himself as being an elite quarterback.
Yeah, we'll see. It's at home.
And I just don't know if he's that guy, pal. I'm begging for that drop today. Jake won't play it. I'm really interested to see if Baron Morton's that guy, pal. Because
you're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
This is at home. This is the biggest test of the year. because it's at home and you're playing for what's going to amount to a bid in the college football playoff. Because I think if Tech wins this game, both BYU and Tech will go to the playoffs. And I think Utah's got a chance as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that Jay Hill's an elite schemer. And BYU's defense, that secondary,
They will
those
force him into
linebackers,
bad positions.
I think my biggest concern is, can Barron deal with Jay Hill's schematics?
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
He is going to scheme the F out of Barron Morton. He is going to disguise. I love how creative their blitz packages have been.
How
And
are
you know
you
how
not?
how much I love a creative package.
Yeah, package size is big for you.
Stay hard.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where
Stay hard.
I think it's going to be very fascinating. Thank you, Jake. I think it's going to be very fascinating to see how Jay Hill operates in this game. And you're pretty healthy. And if number 4 is running the ball for BYU, they're a completely different team.
Yes.
They cannot win this game without LJ.
Yeah, I think that BYU needs to show a lot of bodies at the line of scrimmage and then drop out of that in a million different ways to fool Barron Morton. And I think that if Texas Tech is not, and this goes for BYU too offensively, if these guys are not going to run motion before the snap to understand what the defense is doing, you're asking for trouble. You are doing a disservice to yourself. And I didn't used to really be on that train. I felt like, hey, you got to develop more as a quarterback. But I just feel like it's like, why wouldn't you? Why would you not force the defense to show their hand? I mean, at least if you know it's zone or man, then you can start to predict where guys will be.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I'm just interested to see how Barron handles this defense, because they're 2 of the 3 best defenses in the conference. I think Utah, BYU, and Tech are dead even.
Now, do you think that his QBR is going to be better than, a million in this game?
Well,
I mean, that's the thing.
think we need the QBR in the first 3 snaps to understand the totality of the package.
Right. Right.
Hey guys.
Should BYU go jumbo like Utah?
I don't know, Boyd. Are they going to be quaking or not? I mean, what are we doing?
What specifically do you mean by that?
Well, I'm going to guess he specifically means, are they going to run the jumbo package out onto the field?
Well, 12 personnel is not how you want to go at Texas Tech. I think that, and I would also point out that's not who BYU is. 12 personnel. If BYU is going to run 12 personnel, they're going to lose this game.
Yeah, they need to be on the edge with their speed, no doubt.
Yeah, and I think A-Rod's going to have. You're going to have to throw the ball to the running backs to win. And that's why I think LJ is really important. I mean, obviously there's going to be a time and place for an extra offensive lineman. This is probably not the offensive line. This is probably not the defensive line you want to do that with. I think that you need to run combinations that get Parker Kingston in space. And listen, I think BYU, and I know we talked about this the other day, but I think BYU is very diverse offensively when LJ Martin is healthy. And I think when you look at the way that they use Bear right now, Bear has a very condensed set of route trees he can operate in, because he tends to panic outside of that 3-second window. And it's why they do much better in RPOs. And you don't want to be in 12 personnel in RPO because you need a lot more space, in my opinion. I look at Parker Kingston. I look at Chase Roberts, frankly. I would really like to see them throw the ball to LJ more if he's healthy and if he's able. I'd really like to see them do that, because some of the schematics on LJ are really interesting, But if we look at the Iowa State game, for instance, and you go back and you look at some of the ratings and numbers coming out of that game, I don't think there's any doubt that, somebody is going to have to, and maybe it's Carson Ryan. I could absolutely see Carson Ryan doing that. Somebody is going to have to emerge in the soft spots in the zone, because I think Tech is going to have to play zone. You have the linebackers and you have the comfortability in those linebackers. You have confidence stylistically against this BYU offense. Bear is not, he, and again, I'm not trying to be anti-Bear Bachmeier, as so many people are saying. A young quarterback that's developing who's not played in this kind of environment, because Tech offers you a very different environment than Ames or, really any of your road environments. I think you have to make him predictable. And I think when you start looking at, the way that Bear has played football, one of the things that worries you a little bit, and this is just my opinion, but one of the things that worries you a little bit about Bear Bachmeier is he is very heavy left side of the formation. And I think when you start looking at, I have a schematic chart in my notes on this, but when you start looking at his tendencies, because now we know what his tendencies are, right? We know what he is as a thrower. We know what he's comfortable doing and what he's not comfortable doing. I think we saw at Arizona that if you can get big pressure and make him move a lot, he is horribly rated. He's a 51.2 under pressure this year. You have to send guys after they ask. You got to get after it. Because when you keep Bear Bachmeier clean, and this is any quarterback in the country, he's rated an 82.6 when he's clean. So let me get this right. When he's under pressure, he's a 51, 51.2. When he's clean, he's in the 80s. I'm going to say you probably ought to blitz him, because he's rated a 60.6 when he's blitzed. Under pressure, he's a 51.2. I think you're going to see Tech blitz a lot, which is going to require zone. Bear's going to have to be precise and make the right read very quickly. So
yeah, I also think the screen game with Parker Kingston is going to have to be, you're going to have to use that in this game. You need to get him on the edge.
I think it'll be interesting to see. Again, I'm not trying to put him in positions where, you've got to have LJ Martin. Bear Bachmeier is much better throwing the ball out of play action. And it's interesting you talk about that, because when they go with those screen concepts, he tends to put the ball in dangerous positions because he doesn't think, he just turns and throws. And so if it's blocked well, you'll be fine. But the guy is a 59 in screen concepts. He's a 57 and when there's no play action. You need to, in my opinion, there has to be a lot of diversity in their combinations. And they're going to win or lose this game for Bear in the pre-snap. It's as simple as that. But you really can't measure Bear per game now, because we've seen such a different quarterback week to week to week, and the growth has been significant. When you start looking at where he has grown, I think certainly pre-snap, Bear Bachmeier is a much better quarterback today than he was day one.
Of course.
But when you're a freshman, there's no question.
Look, the cat's talented, man. I think that we get into this thing where, you've got BYU fan in the chat right now saying, he did it without a running game against Iowa State. Okay, cool, dude. But
Iowa State's also been one of the biggest disappointments in college football.
But that's the issue for BYU fan, is you're always focused on last week. dude. The reality is that this is your season right here. Like, there might as well not be games after this game, right? Like, if you lose this game, it's over for you. Did you not learn the CFP lesson last year? You lose this game, you're not going to the CFP.
Yeah, and I don't know whoever said that about Iowa State. I mean, you listen, if you look at, I think when you look at Bear, and I've seen every one of those snaps against Iowa State, I think when you start really getting into the way that he played, and you look at the fact that they were able to run any route combination they wanted to in that game. It's shocking, frankly, how bad Iowa State's defense is, but nobody's trying to take away from him. I think that every game has been a different quarterback for BYU. You just don't know what he is or what he's going to be. And I think it's going to be a matter of what, like, is JoJo Phillips playing in this game? Is LJ is supposedly going to play? Well, how healthy is he going to be? How capable is he going to be? I am telling you, to win this game, you got to throw the ball to LJ Martin. And it's not something Aaron likes to. A-Rod does not like throwing the ball to LJ Martin. I mean, you can just see that based on the way that they use him. But you gotta find a way to put against a defense with this kind of tenacity. And I know BYU fans probably going to lose their shit. He is an awful quarterback when there is no play action read. Because what that specifically means, when LJ is not lined up behind him and he does not fake that handoff and pull that into a pass, there's nothing for the linebacker to understand other than, because Bear's not a guy who's going to be 3 progression deep. They simply don't have that in their offense for him. So when you look at his struggles without play action, when you look at his struggles in screen concepts, when you look at his struggles, especially in the A-gap blitz, when defensive line twists, he's rated a 46 against a stunt or a twist through the A-gap. Well, that's one of the most difficult plays to diagnose as a quarterback, because it's in your face and you're not looking at that. And I hope people understand that. Like, when that defensive tackle twists, or what that means is steps back from the end and runs in through the A-gap. I mean, you're in the quarterback's face and he doesn't even know you're coming. Like, it just isn't part of BYU's offense to let him stand back there 3 to 5 seconds, diagnose the defense, and read 3 guys. You're not going to do that. And the good news is your 2 best receivers, and I think 2 of the best receivers in the conference, those are the guys that are getting the majority of the targets.
Yeah.
So you're not asking him to read 3 guys. You're asking him really what their concepts are is, hey, this is designed to go to Parker in this formation at this space, right? So if you watch Bear, he's not reading the defense. He's reading his wide receiver. He's keen on his wide receiver.
I don't even have a problem with, generally.
No, not
right?
at all.
Like, I don't have a problem
really
with that.
good football.
Yeah,
it's really good football.
I think it's smart to keep it simple. To be a 1 or 2 read look every time. Hey, this is option A. If it's not there, you're going here. That's that to me is really smart. And I think that it just is a thing where I think, because of what happened with Retzloff, BYU fan is just so committed to Bear Bachmeier just being the savior of the program and just being, the best quarterback we've ever seen. And he's gotten better. He has. I mean, dude,
every week.
Give the guy credit for improvising in the Iowa State game, albeit all the Iowa State injuries and their poor defense. That's not his fault, and that shouldn't be held against him.
I think that is truly one of the shocking storylines, certainly in the Big-12, but of the season. I mean, it really is. BYU FTB, whatever that means. Monty doesn't think Bear is one of the best freshman quarterbacks in college football. How could he not be? Like, who are the freshmen? CJ Carr. CJ Carr's a better passer. Julian Sayin it's probably the best freshman in the country is probably Julian Sayin or CJ Carr. I don't even know that that's arguable. But then it's Bear Bachmeier. There's not even a third. Who else would even be? Are you going to take JKS at Cal? Are you going to take? Nobody's taking Malik Washington over Bear Bachmeier. Like, is he one of the best? Like, do you think about this shit before you come in here and say that?
Nope.
He's not CJ Carr or Julian Sayin, but he is absolutely one of the three best. He's the third best freshman quarterback in the country. I would say, and I don't want to get too far. I would need to look at. I mean, the only other, and it's going to take me a second to find, but the only other guy that you can really Mason Henschel at Pitt comes to mind. Bear's better. Bryce Underwood. Bears just performed at a much higher level than Bryce. I mean, Bryce is not. I wouldn't put Bryce and Bear Bachmeier in the same conversation. Shit, the kid at Hawaii. Oh, this is why I don't talk off the top of my head because I can't think of his name.
But why do we? Why does it
or,
need to be like? What's the point of this? Like, what are we
well,
doing?
The point is, but this is bitter ass BYU fan because I'm not going to lay down and say that Bear's the greatest freshman quarterback in the country. He's not. I would take CJ Carr and Julian Sayin every single day over Bear Bachmeier, and anybody else would. You can ask Aaron Roderick; he's taken CJ Carr and Julian Sayin.
Yeah,
it is. I'm not going to sit here and throw Bear Bachmeier as this great quarterback because he's not yet. He's not supposed to be playing. He is not supposed to be your starting quarterback. You did not spend the entire offseason preparing him. So you expect the inconsistency that we've seen. Because again, paint the picture of Bear Bachmeier's season. It's a roller coaster, especially throwing the football. And you look at the concepts and the route combinations that they run for him. It's just a very different situation at BYU because they didn't spend the entire offseason preparing him to start. Until the whole scandal with Jake broke. And what I will continue to say is I think you'd be a national championship contender if Jake Retzloff was doing what he's doing at Tulane at BYU. You would be significantly better. You would be significantly better. Boyd Lake, I think Bear has actually been more efficient than Retzloff, which is wild. Have you watched Jake Retzloff this year? They're asking, you guys understand that Jake Retzloff is playing a role he's never played in his entire football career. He is running significantly more than he ever has. And I think, Bear has been as good as we could have hoped for. Absolutely. And again, I will say, I think he has a chance to be one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of BYU football when it's said and done. He is not the best freshman quarterback in the country. And anybody telling you that they would take Bear Bachmeier over CJ Carr or Julian Sayin has no idea what they're talking about. And I think Julian Sayin's the best freshman quarterback in the country. I don't even think it's close. Julian Sayin has been amazing. And most people will tell you it's 1A and between him and CJ Carr. I watch pretty much every snap of both those dudes. CJ Carr still has those moments where you're like, dude, what were you thinking? Julian Sayin does not. Julian Sayin looks like he's been out there a decade. It's wild. Damn, Monty, put those knee pads on and get ready to do that throat expanding glazing technique.
Right.
It just, I think, and this is part and parcel of BYU's problem. Your media is so dishonest with you about what's happening on the field that you think that Bear Bachmeier is the greatest quarterback, the best quarterback in the country. Nobody's ever seen a better quarterback than Bear Bachmeier. It's just, it doesn't have to be that way. He is a ceiling for you this year. Because, again, he's a true freshman who was not prepared to be the starter. They were all in on Jake Retzloff. I'm telling you, they were going to push Jake to be a Heisman candidate. They were like Davey O'Brien, like they had all kinds of marketing assets and resources behind Jake Retzloff. That's how in on Jake Retzloff they were. And then the whole thing broke, and, you know, who said he's awful? This is, guy, you're what's wrong with BYU football fans. You're nobody on this show has ever said he's awful. Nobody has ever said that. Bear doesn't look impressive. Sorry. I think, use whatever adjective you want. The guy has grown from the first day of fall camp to today. He's a completely different quarterback. There's no way not to be impressed. There's no way not to be impressed. No, they're not. They're not. Bro, you can sit here and spin this any way you want. This league, I hate to break this to you, this league, the Big-12 specifically, the way it is currently running, does not prepare you for the size and speed disadvantage you have going against the Big Ten and the SEC. Sorry to break it to you. You are in a position where if you look at, I don't even know who I think is the best team in the country, right? I mean, Alabama. You put BYU up against Alabama, they're going to compete because the motor and the want to at BYU is off the charts. And the scheme defensively is really good. You don't have the depth to run with that offense. The speed that Alabama wide receivers have, and you have a quarterback who I think is currently leading the Heisman Trophy race in Ty Simpson, who just does not miss. And the thing that we know about BYU's defense is that they're susceptible, as most defenses are, they're susceptible over the top. BYU is going to beat your ass into the ground inside of 12 yards. You're just not beating their linebackers. And if you float a ball out to the boundary, it's going to get intercepted. That's the reality of it. And the way that you beat BYU defensively, in my opinion, is you have to run a lot of double move. You have to run a lot of pre-snap motion, and you absolutely have to stop the linebackers from backpedaling. Because you allow those linebackers, and I still think Isaiah Glasgow is probably the most underrated linebacker in this league. So I think most people know about Jack Kelly. Isaiah Glasgow somehow, some way, constantly is under the radar in this league. You allow those guys to backpedal to 8-9 yards, you're dead in the water. They are going to come downhill and smash your face. And furthermore, the most impressive thing about BYU is I think they've shown discipline. Their defensive line and edge has shown incredible discipline this year. That whole, hey, I'm going to crash down and the running back is going to go right by me. Or last year, how many times did you see BYU get beat on a simple screen? They would go all in aggressively, over aggressive off the edge. And all of a sudden you've got that screen, that little screen slip, and that's a 12 to 17 yard play. You're not seeing that against BYU's defense this year. And it's because they're a lot more disciplined. But the thing I don't think you understand, and I think Texas Tech might be, they're just bigger physically. But I don't even think Texas Tech has the speed outside to stay with the Alabamas, the physicality to stay. Indiana is so incredibly physical. Ask Oregon. They're so incredibly physical. Ohio State is physical, big, and fast. You're not at that level. BYU's ceiling is below that. Now, can you outcompete them? Can you out-execute that? Sure, absolutely. Could BYU stay with Notre Dame? Yes. Their wide receiver group? Absolutely. That'd have to be an incredible performance throwing the football, because you are not going to run, and this is Texas Vandy. Diego Pavia or Bear Bachmeier? Bear Bachmeier is not as good as Diego Pavia right now. And I do believe that Texas, after the game, walked up to Diego Pavia and handed him his balls back. And I don't mean footballs. That's the thing. Now, a year from now, because I think you're going to add multiple bodies on both sides of the line, and I think Bear Bachmeier is going to be a significantly better quarterback a year from now than he is right now. Well, let's find out. But a year from now, we'll probably be having a different conversation. But right now, today, do you truly believe playing football in the Big 12 at the team level? And if this is BYU, Texas Tech, Utah, pick your poison. Do you think any of those teams are being prepared to take on Texas, Bama, Georgia, or Indiana? Because it's certainly not Ohio State. And I don't even know that Ohio State is going to be able to stand up against the physicalness of Indiana's front. You're not competing at that level in the Big 12. And again, I'm not trying to be an asshole about it. I think it's one of those things where you just have to figure out schematically how to do that. And this is where we go back to, do I trust Aaron Roderick or not specifically? So I think it is going to be very interesting to see how this game plays out physically, because these two are going to, they do represent the best opportunity you have to put multiple teams in the playoff.
Yep.
You need, frankly, what you need, if you're the Big 12, you probably want Texas Tech to win this game. And then you want these two teams to win out and meet in the conference championship game, because the playoff committee is not going to punish the loser of the conference championship game. They won't.
No.
And it's just one of those things where, again, and I love BYU fan. We have a ton of BYU viewership on the show, and I love it. I think when you look at this conference, BYU, and I know that BYU fan doesn't believe me. We talked about it after the Holy War. You're significantly better than Utah is this year. And you still, in my opinion, had issues dealing with a lot of the defensive scheme. Now, Utah just could not execute in that game. But I think you had a lot of trouble. Bear had a lot of trouble dealing with the disguise and the scheme that Utah ran, which is why he only completed 13 passes and averaged 7.5 yards, because what was he doing? Well, he was taking advantage of a Utah defense. It was incredibly over-aggressive. So everything was underneath, right? But you also ran for, what did they run for? 200 yards in that game, I think, BYU. And LJ was sensational in that game. So we'll see. The proof is in the pudding. I think Bear is developing at a pretty sensational rate, and we'll see. Remember when this show members were 90% BYU and Utah fan, and both of them say, hey, you're a BYU fan, and now we get Jimmy Jamoke saying, oh, you're a Utah fan.
You're a homer is the first part.
BYU fan just will not accept the reality of their football team. It is what has always plagued BYU. You've got to understand who you are and where you are. Because if you don't understand where you're going.
Correct.
And I think BYU is in a great spot. I will continue to sing the praises of Kalani Sitake and the foundation he has laid in this program. And what Jay Hill's done, the moment that Kalani swallowed his what had to be pride and fired his best friend and then hired Jay Hill, This program's gone to another level. So, Texas Tech beats Indiana. Beats Indiana for sure. How do you don't think they would do much to Tech's defense?
How do you get it so wrong?
Well, I don't even, you could be right. What have you seen on Indiana's, what do you think? What have you seen on Indiana's offense that's like, nah, they couldn't handle Tech's defense? Like, what is it? And I want the answer. I want it. Because
yeah, good luck explaining why Fernando Mendoza wouldn't be able to handle Tech's defense. I'm curious how that maths.
I think you are out of your ever-loving mind if your belief is that you're crazy. I have no idea what it is that you believe about Fernando Mendoza that you think somehow he can't handle Tech's defense. Do you understand that this cat, when you look at his grade is exactly the same with play action and no play action. He is, and this is the part that should terrify you for all of he couldn't handle Tech's defense. Do you understand with no pressure, he's a 79.9. Take a wild guess what Fernando Mendoza's grade against pressure is.
80 plus.
84.3. So wait a minute. When he's under pressure, his grade goes up. And they don't screen almost at all at Indiana. It's not something they do regularly. I don't know. You're out of your mind if you think that Fernando Mendoza is at all worried about Tech's defense. Because I've watched a lot of Tech's defense. I have a lot of respect for Tech's defense. I think they're tied with BYU and Utah as the best defense in this conference. I don't know that I have been more impressed with anybody from the quarterback position in crazy environments than Fernando Mendoza. He's always been that guy. He's always been that guy. And I think when you start looking at the way that Fernando has handled his transition, like, I mean, I can look up his PFF stuff is, I mean, it's frightening how good Fernando Mendoza is.
Yes.
Which should tell you how much better Ty Simpson is, because his shit is unbelievable. And I think Fernando Mendoza is really good. Let me give you some numbers on Fernando Mendoza. And what's the best team they faced? Oregon, I think Oregon or Iowa. Those are two really tough environments to go into.
Oregon is better than Iowa.
I would agree with that. He was against Oregon on the road, 20 of 31 for 215 with a touchdown. And if you look at the Iowa game at Iowa City, 13 of 23, he only threw the ball 23 times. And he threw 2 touchdowns and 1 interception and had that bomb for, what was that, 50-something yards. And he was rated in the Iowa game 161. 161. And then you start some of his other numbers that will just blow your mind. Do you guys know that his third quarter rating, and why your if you go look at a lot of quarterback rating, third quarter rating, not QBR, third quarter rating matters so much, because you've just spent time sitting with your coaching staff making adjustments. His third quarter rating is 207.4. So what does that mean? He digests it and he executes it. They give it to him, he goes out there and he executes it. And did I mention his because I'm also a guy that believes the middle eight is where you win and lose football games. His second quarter rating is 194.4. It's wild to me. It's wild to me. And in the third quarter, he completes 80% of his passes. And in the third quarter, his dangerous throw rate, 1.4%. 1.4% of his throws in the third quarter this year have been dangerous throws that could have been intercepted. That is unbelievable. Yeah, he's really good. He is really, really good. So, I'm if your belief is that Texas Tech's defense is they haven't seen a quarterback. They haven't seen they haven't seen a Bear Bachmeier this year. They haven't seen a Ty Simpson, a CJ Carr, a Julian Sain, a Fernando Mendoza. Tech has not seen. Who is the best quarterback Texas Tech has seen?
Hoover.
Probably. I mean, if we look at Texas Tech, I mean, I know who the best quarterback they've seen is. Sam Leavitt. What happened in that game? Sam Leavitt's the best quarterback they've seen. I don't think there's any doubt about that. No, they haven't played TCU yet. Yeah, he's the best quarterback. You know what's interesting about Texas Tech? They've really only seen one real quality quarterback. And it was Sam Leavitt at Arizona State. And he was half dead. He's out for the year now. He was half dead. And Sam Leavitt was 28 of 47, 319 and a touchdown. And Jordan Tyson was 10 for 105, 10.5 yard average, which is a little scary. And again, now maybe this is the blueprint for BYU. Rayleigh Brown ran it 19 times, 69 yards and a touchdown. Rayleigh Brown had 4 catches, 15 yards. And the Jordan Tyson touchdown, and I think BYU's uniquely built to do this. Run the back out, chip the defensive end, and have him come over the middle to bring Jacob Rodriguez in. And that gives you that in route that BYU is just the lethality that BYU runs that in route because it's a really good throw for Bear. That could be the one. That could be the one. Jake, give me just which way are you leaning? Because BYU's a 10.5 point dog in this game. So which way are you leaning?
Yeah, BYU's going to cover this number. I think that Tech is. Tech should win this game. There's no question about it. Tech is, Tech theoretically is the better team. They obviously, they do have a great defense. Obviously, Baron Morton coming out party of sorts. And what I mean by that is like, hey, this is the biggest game of the year. Hopefully you perform well. Hopefully you don't turn it over. Hopefully, you have a better showing than you did against Utah because your showing against Utah just wasn't very good. But I don't think it's any surprise that this is a 10.5 point number because I don't think that, frankly, I just don't think that BYU is proven against the quality opponent that Texas Tech is. I mean, I think that Tech is very fast. They're physical. They're prepared. They're obviously talented and have size on the D line. So, I would lean Tech. It's Tuesday. Let's see again how the week goes on. But it's Tuesday. The number's 10.5. And it's only 53.5. So we're sitting here saying this is a defensive game. And honestly, like I would have BYU covering the 10.5. I would have this as a 27-24 kind of game, 27-21 kind of game. And I do think that there are probably 3 turnovers in this game, honestly. And the way those turnovers go will ultimately decide the game.
Yeah, I think the turnover thing is going to be huge. Whoever controls, this is not rocket science. Whoever controls the middle of the field specifically between the hashes, I think probably wins the game. But I also think nobody respects Texas Tech's ability to run the ball. And I think you're going to have to find a way. If you're BYU, you're going to have to find a way to keep them from. You got to hold Texas Tech to 3.5 yards a carry. And if you can do that, and Cameron Dickey's a big physical back. I think he scored his, and I can look, I think he scored his 10th touchdown against K-State. If you can keep them at 3.5 yards a carry, because I think on the year he's got 10 scores. He's averaging 5.6 yards a carry. But you got to also remember a lot of that was the Kansas game. And I think that's a game he ran 21 times for 263 yards. You're not doing that against BYU. But the Arizona State game, 9 carries, 40 yards, no touchdowns. And I think BYU is a significantly better defense than Arizona State. But I also think for BYU, you're going to run into a brick wall this entire game, and you got to keep running the football. And again, I'm going to tell you, throw the ball to LJ and you will win this game. Now, Aaron Roderick makes me very nervous with play calling. But I think if you're BYU, you're just in a very different spot than Tech is, because BYU can lose this game and still go to the playoff. Tech cannot. I think it's going to be tough.
I'm not convinced of that.
What?
That BYU can lose this game and still go to the playoff. They need this win.
Well, it would certainly help. But I think if Tech wins this game, BYU and Texas Tech will rematch. Will rematch in the Big-12 championship game. And again, I just believe, such as and like that, you're not going to penalize the loser of conference championship games if they're in a playoff position.
All I'm saying is, look at what happened last year. You were undefeated. Everything's perfect. Everything's amazing. Lost a game. Go on to be a 3-loss team. Downhill. Season's over.
Ooh, Verge Osbury has been promoted to the permanent athletic director at LSU.
Great.
Ooh. That means that he's probably going to be the guy to lead that search then. And he said today, Osbury said today, LSU will consider a coach who is participating in the playoff, even if it means waiting until late January to make a hire. They're not hiring coordinators. I'm just going to keep telling you that. They're not hiring coordinators. So anyway, all right. Boyd Lake, got to protect the ball against those cow-punching Raiders. Well, and they're excellent at that. They are excellent at that. Tech 32, BYU 25. Scoring 32 points on BYU's defense. I'm probably too much of a fan of BYU's defense. I probably believe in it too much. I don't think there's much that separates BYU and Texas Tech's defense. I think they're really close. And if I look at what was BYU defense's worst performance, probably Iowa State. Iowa State are giving up 21 to Utah was probably not your finest moment.
I was going to say Colorado.
No, I think Arizona by far. But that was such a weird weather game.
BYU's giving up more than 20 points in this game. I mean, you just booked that. Like they're going to give up. They're going to give up less than 30, but more than 20.
Well, maybe before dummy BYU fan came into the chat, but you believe Baron Morton's going to perform in this game?
Yeah, it's at home. I have no doubt. He'll be fine.
Yeah. I'll have an answer for you on that on Friday. I'm not certain that I want to buy into that.
He can't afford not to. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but I'd like to see BYU and Utah both win out, so a Holy War Conference Championship game, but I don't think Tech will win this game. But I do think Tech will win this game. I don't think the problem is that if Tech loses one game, That'd be really tough because Utah's a 2-loss team. Tech is a 1-loss team. Yeah, you wouldn't get to the conference championship game. You'd need Tech to lose again. You have the hammer over Cincinnati, although they're a 1-loss team. This conference is ridiculous. I mean, I just don't. The problem for Utah is you have that game next weekend, not this week, and I think it's in 2 weeks at Baylor. Now, Baylor's not a good football team. Dave's on his deathbed. But I think Utah's road games are slimy. You're at Baylor, and then you're at Kansas. And you've got K-State stacked in the middle, who doesn't, again, they don't have a quarterback. Just going to keep saying that. But we'll see. If BYU and Utah both went out, Tech will have 2 losses. They lost to Arizona State. We win on a 3-way tiebreaker. Oh, okay. I looked it up. Okay.
Yeah, I just think the Tech is going to win this game 24-21. BYU, to me, you put up 20.
You're not scoring 30 points on this defense.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you're not going to score 30 on BYU's defense, but you are going to score 27. And BYU's offense put up 24 points on Utah's defense. So it's not unreasonable to think that they can be 21, 24 points on Tech's defense. Now, we're assuming that Baron Morton survives the game, by the way. I think, obviously, his availability and his health in this game is paramount for Texas Tech to win the ballgame. If he gets hurt, it's
you got
over.
nothing behind him. I mean, I just don't trust Baron. That's my biggest fear. I love the kid. I love when he's good. There's no prettier football, but you lost me in Salt Lake City. I mean, he was ass in Salt Lake City. He was not good.
Yeah, well, he's got a chance to redeem himself. We'll see if he does.
Yeah. Hey, Monty, gunpoint or redemption against Jay Hill's defense? Probably going to take the redemption against Jay Hill's defense, but it's close, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I cannot wait for this game. I am super stoked for it. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, we'll see. We probably talked way too much about this now, but it's the game of the week. I mean, it is what it is. And, real quick. And if you haven't hit the like button, we have 7,000 people watching the show. Please come over to YouTube. If you're on our other social channels, please come over. If you're on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, the cock. I saw a bunch of TikTok comments coming in or DMs coming in. Kyle, who is probably the biggest Utah fan that watches this show. Kyle says, we lost to Utah for the 3rd straight year, and I'm already fed up with BYU fan. Anybody saying that you haven't given Bear Bachmeier it's B-A-C. Bear Bachmeier his flowers is out of their goddamn mind. Get out of here with that. Well, and if you watch this show on a regular basis, you've heard me talk about Bear. And
Angry much, dude? Bitter much, bro?
There is no hate like Utah fan hating on BYU fan. There is none. I still think it is the best. Don't be surprised if Tech blows them out. Okay, Danny, or Donnie, I'm here for it, Donnie. Describe to me how that would happen. Jay Hill. Do you know that Jay Hill? I'm off the top of my head, so don't crucify me. I don't believe in his time at BYU that Jay Hill has ever given up 30 or more points.
He's given up 30 points twice in the last 2 seasons. That's it.
Okay. I'd have to go back and double check that. But do you understand that they don't give up 30 points? They just don't. Their defense. And I'm guessing if you're a Tech fan, you haven't seen BYU at all. Their linebackers are as good as your linebackers, which you have not been able to say at any point this season. Legitimately, BYU's linebackers are as good as Tech's linebackers. Your defensive line is probably better. The edge and discipline on the defensive line goes to BYU. And then it's just going to come down to which quarterback is going to make more plays, which is where I think Behren Morton has a chance to win this game.
I just want to put this in perspective, the 30-point thing, because it is true. You gave up 30 points last year. The last time you gave up 30 points for BYU's defense was last year, Oklahoma State, 35 points on October 18th.
Oklahoma State, correct.
Before
Damn, that was the Stribling touchdown game. Yeah, that's right.
Before
and that was the Lassiter touchdown.
Yeah, before that it took overtime against, again, Oklahoma State, double overtime, and you gave up 34. But in regulation, before last year, you hadn't given up 30 points since September 16th of 2023 against Arkansas.
Oh, come on. Fuck me. Like, they don't give up 30 points. You have to go back to the Arkansas game.
Like,
bro, I'm telling you now. I am telling you now. If you look at Tech and you look at the best defense Texas Tech has seen this year is easily Utah. And I think when I look at Utah, and I'd have to find my notes on that game. You had garbage time in that game. And the issue, more to the point, the issue in that game was Utah's offense was not good. And if you look at, I want to say Texas Tech had a massive time of possession advantage and turnover. Texas Tech in that game had 32 minutes of possession, and Utah turned the ball over 4 times. So you pass for 311, Utah passed for 162 yards and only ran for 100. So you can't say, look at Utah. They did it to Utah. BYU's offense is twice as good as Utah's offense. At least twice as dynamic. Utah does not have quality outside. They don't have skill positions, and they don't have running backs. They're putting a running game together with scotch tape and super glue. So
I'd like to also point out another boneheaded comment really quickly out of the natural. This is the same dude that said Texas would beat Ohio State by 35. He doesn't actually know. He just says blowouts for any game.
I said that?
You're a member of this channel saying that.
Wait, who is he? Are you talking about me? I never said that Texas was going to. What did he say? That Texas would beat Ohio State by 35? I never said Texas would beat Ohio State by 35. I never, ever said that. Those words were never uttered on this show. I never fucking said that. I believe I said that was going to be.
Okay. He clarified. He's talking about Donnie Gray.
Oh, okay.
Hey, bro.
I was going to say, I said that was going to be a one-score game.
Clarify when you make comments like that, because.
Yeah. Okay, Donnie. Yeah. I just don't. Yeah. Yeah. The trolls are out, and I probably bit too hard on it.
Also, James, I don't know what kind of conversation you're having. I have an office, not a rectory.
Stop it.
James. What are we doing here, bro? Like, just a question.
Look, Dana, you need to get control of your emotions. Okay, just chill out. Marcus said anybody who thinks that BYU's giving up 30 plus in 800 computer models, the most that and trust this guy works at a major sports network. In 800 computer models, simulations, Texas Tech scored 30 points twice.
Hey, so with that in mind, here's Oak State James's prediction.
Okay, there you go.
The dynasty is not over.
The over-under on Behren interceptions in this game is 2.5. So,
Oh, 2.5. Okay.
that, well, which says is he going to throw 2 or is he going to throw 3? Yeah, BYU fans can thank James. There you go. There's no way they're giving up 30.
No
maybe,
chance.
maybe, maybe
Anyway.
I could be wrong, but
Okay,
you brought up
yeah.
Monty's favorite directory. Okay. All right. Can we talk about priests and Rolls Royce? Speaking of Oak State, James, did you guys see this story? I mean,
Now, James, this is a special for you, okay? I pulled this story just for you. Maybe this is what you can shoot for in your studies and your accelerated courses, okay?
the balls on this guy.
Church is finally here. None of this would be possible without y'all and God.
You celebrating tonight?
I am just not with y'all.
Bro.
Do you guys understand? Jake, excuse me if I'm wrong, but do you guys understand the MSRP on a Rolls Royce Cullinan? That's what that car is. The MSRP on that their vehicle is $485,000. It is called a black badge Cullinan. It's $485,000.
Well, look, the pastor's got to have a proper, carriage to get from his home to the house of God. I mean, come on.
Now, I could be wrong, but do you flaunt that in front of your congregation?
Church is finally here. None of this would be possible without y'all and God.
You celebrating tonight?
I am just not with y'all.
This is the same guy, and I want to say it was a Maybach Mercedes. He parked a Maybach Mercedes on the stage in his church to thank everybody. And I want to say this is the same guy whose congregation said, "Can we drive it?" And he said, "Nah, God wouldn't approve of that." Okay, well,
But here, look, His Holiness has commented.
I live a simple life on purpose. That Rolls Royce is a complete waste of money. It's not a Rolls Royce. It's a chariot to deliver the word.
In his Jesus walk sandals.
Even if I were to get an SUV, it would be a Honda Passport or a Honda CRV. I'm going to say you need to get your people to tithe more.
Now, yeah, we need to have a conversation because this is what your current congregation's tithing has provided you, right? I mean, this is what we're looking at here. I mean, this is not a Rolls Royce.
Right? Is this how much they pay you for charting? So you chart and then they tithe, and this is what you get. Exposing wolves in sheep's clothing.
I mean, it's just a question, dude. It's just a question.
Well, they did buy you huge veneers for your front teeth. I'm curious though, who on earth is giving money to this church? If I was going to church, and I largely think church is bullshit. If I was going to church and the priest was driving a $485,000 Rolls Royce black badge Cullinan, I'm out.
What now?
Right? I'm out. What?
I can't believe the balls on this guy. I mean, he's got it on the trailer. Like, you had the balls to bring the whole congregation out into the parking lot, dude.
Church is finally here. None of this would be possible without y'all and God.
You celebrating tonight?
I am just not with y'all.
Like,
not
dude,
with y'all.
Come on, man.
Because I know that God liked separation from his flock. Who the
f is that guy?
My favorite Bible stories are when Jesus drove his Rolls Royce on the Sea of Galilee. Well, Moses split the Red Sea, Marty, and they drove that black badge right through there. Wild. James gets NIL seminary money, just not as much.
I mean, apparently, dude.
Healing lepers in his brand new Lamborghini. Did you guys see that the number one selling Lamborghini in the world now is an Urus?
Yeah, it's embarrassing, dude.
Their number one selling Lamborghini is now the Urus.
It's
and yet people continue to follow cults. This is what I hate about organized religion. This is why I do not believe in organized religion. I am somebody that very much believes that if you're spiritual and you believe in a God, you should believe in that God and you should be spiritual. If I got to give you money so that I can believe in my God, yeah, you can probably fuck off.
That's not what we're about.
Because I'm not doing it. I'm telling you now, it's stories like this. You guys remember Benny Hinn? You remember Jim and Tammy Faye Baker? Like all of the, hey, look at my mansion. What's his name down in Houston? Mr. It's flooding. We're not going to let people come to the church and stay at the church. Joel Osteen. Yeah, you remember that clown face? Ma, I can't have people in here. They might piss on the mahogany. Man of God.
Sure, dude.
Man,
sure.
Like it's ridiculous. You're in a world where SNAP benefits are being taken away by billionaires. You're asking us to give you money so you can drive a $485,000 Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
And then you're pulling us outside to see your Rolls Royce. That's wild. Yeah, Joel Osteen. You guys remember that when it was flooding and he held out and wouldn't open up the church? It's wild.
Yeah. It's terrible, dude.
Joel Osteen thrived for all man's sins. Exactly. Asking money from poor old ladies to finance their ridiculous lifestyles.
Well, look, I want to be clear. I don't have any issue. If you got Rolls Royce money and you want to drive a Rolls, cool, dude. Just don't take it off of the people who work their ass off of it. You know, if you like, come on, dude.
You know, which is wild to me. It's wild to me that this is, and I look, and I know that a lot of people who listen to the show are Christians. Trust me, they're always praying for me when I say stupid shit, which is cool. Thoughts and prayers, bro.
I pray for moments like that.
But I'm telling you, when you have to give a large portion of your income to keep the church in business, and that income that you're giving to them is so they can go and get other people to give them income, we call that a pyramid scheme.
Monty, James has a question here specifically for you.
Oh, okay.
Now here it is, okay? Mm-hmm. Monty, I am working hard to expose this kind of spiritual abuse.
Nope.
Could you allow me once to share my other YouTube channel? So hold on a second. Hold on.
Go follow James.
Dude, you have another YouTube channel, and we're supposed to believe that Dana's a real person.
Yeah, it's the Dana Marie YouTube channel. Go follow Dana Marie YouTube channel so James can expose religious abuse. Live from Buc-ee's. You know. There he is. That's James broadcasting live from his cathedral. Jake, what is James's Instagram handle? Does he have Twitter?
Yeah, because he put his credit card number on Twitter that one time.
Oh, that's right. That nobody said he was a smart man. What is James's Twitter? Let's James, if you want to tweet that out, and I was trying to be respectful. I was not trying to be respectful. James, comment your Twitter handle.
Yeah, I don't know that I can find it on Twitter. It's been so long, dude. I mean, hell, I guess I'll just search the same name. I mean, maybe we're in luck here.
Yeah, James, comment your Twitter handle so people can follow you and find out about how you chase down and haunt these thieves of colonins. You know, I'm not saying you weren't being respectful. That monkey picture is absolutely ridiculous. It is. Right? And it works in so many different ways. But you can't see if he's peeing himself. repeating himself.
Hold on, let me drop a Montyism on you that I heard a million times as a kid. It's not what you tried to do, it's only what you did do, James. Okay? That's the difference, bro.
Brother.
I try
That's the difference,
and
bro.
you know, I want such as and like, and it you know, it's fine.
Dirac.
Paxton. Hello, Paxton. Monty, do the first playoff rankings tell the most? They don't. Here's my question. Who will be the highest ranked Big 12 team in the playoff ratings?
Should be Tech.
Yo, you think it'll be Tech? No.
Yeah, because I just don't think. No, I don't think BYU gets respected. That's the problem, dude. And if they lose, I'm telling you, if they lose this weekend, they will not go to the CFP. I'm telling you, it ain't happening. They do not have enough respect nationally.
I think if it were me, the ratings I wrote down last night, I would probably have Indiana. Who would be the 4 buys? I had Indiana, Ohio State, Texas A&M, and BYU as the 4 buys. I would have, man, that's tough. I would have Tech in. I'd have Tech like a 6 to 10 seed. Anywhere in there. I would have them in. My biggest question is, does Texas, Oklahoma, does Notre Dame make the college football playoff? I have them on the outside looking in today. I have Texas out. I have Oklahoma out. I have Miami out. I have Notre Dame out. The teams that I think are really going to have to struggle here is who's the G5 rep? Who's the G5 representative? Because if I look at who's the first non-bye team, probably Alabama would be that would make them a 5. And if I look at my note on this, I would have Alabama 5. I would have Ole Miss 6. I would have Georgia 7, Vandy 8, and Tech 9, Oregon 10. And then it's really close between Louisville and Texas. And I think that is a razor's edge. Razor's edge. Because I have Notre Dame out. I think Texas is on the line. And I just think Texas has such a difficult road ahead.
Yeah.
Right? Because what is Tech in the AP 13th, I think? And they still have to play Georgia, Arkansas, and Texas A&M. Which essentially is a neutral site game. I mean, they're down the street from each other, essentially. I mean, Texas has such, but again, I think Arch played his ass off this past weekend. So, yeah, Paxton, I don't know. It's going to be really tough to see because if I look at the you can tell how little respect people have for the Big 12. Cincinnati is 25th in the country this week. Well, they lost her out, right?
Yeah.
Well, but Utah's 17th. Who beat them? Right? And it's what I hate about the AP poll. I think this is ridiculous. Right? I don't have a problem with the top 5. How is Oregon 6th in the country? How is Ole Miss and BYU behind Oregon?
Because nobody would believe that Ole Miss or BYU would beat Oregon right now. That's how.
Yeah, I think that's crazy. How is a 2-loss Oklahoma team who's lost to Texas and Ole Miss? How are they higher than Texas at 13? I don't know. The AP's a joke. I think BYU and Ole Miss are interchangeable because I think Ole Miss has had their balls broken repeatedly. They're also 8-1 in the SEC. 8-1 total, 5-1 in the SEC, but they're 8-1 as an SEC team. And their one loss was at Georgia. Like, are we really penalizing? Are we really penalizing Ole Miss? Like, I understand not putting them ahead of Georgia. But how is Alabama? And here's one for you. Look at Alabama. Their one loss is Florida State. It's a terrible, crippling loss. They won at Georgia. They beat Vandy. They beat Missouri on the road. They beat Tennessee, and they beat South Carolina. And you're telling me that's the fourth best team in the country? And you're
who
telling
would you
me
have ahead of them?
I would have them ahead of I would have them ahead of Texas A&M. Who I don't does Texas A&M have an impressive win?
No, but they're undefeated, right?
Yes. But again, are we going on undefeated? Okay, so they're ahead, or are we going on the best teams in the country?
They're going on undefeated right now. Guarantee it.
Is Notre Dame an impressive win? At home.
Shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. But kind of feels like it is.
41-40, you beat Notre Dame. And again, it was at home for Notre Dame. It was at the stadium. I guess. Right? Is Auburn impressive? Is Mississippi State, Florida, Arkansas, LSU? No. Are they going to go to Columbia and win? Are they going to beat Missouri on the road? How far does A&M fall if they lose to Missouri? Should they be outside the top 700? Because that's what it feels. It's just so stupid.
Yeah.
It's just so stupid to me.
Yeah.
That I just it's so
I don't
frustrating.
Disagree. It's the problem with it. There's no measuring stick. There's no logical way to say.
No, it's soccer writers voting on college football.
Yeah.
That's what it is, bro. It's soccer writers voting on college football. As much as I can say it. It's soccer writers voting on college football, and it's annoying as hell. And again, I understand that we're going to be in this position where we're going to wait every week for the college football playoff rankings and who's going to Miami, and totally understand it. And I still hate it. I hate it. It pisses me off. No, Chad, we didn't get to the NBA because we never get to the NBA. I can never talk NBA on this show. Blame it on Jackwagon Texas Tech fan. An over-exuberant BYU fan. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have full reaction to the college football playoff initial rankings in your rectum. Is that too much?
Okay. All right.
There you go.
Wow. Right.
Don't forget to get your swerve on at the Advocate. You get in an accident, dudes. Clear risk-free advice. Clear risk-free advice. You have no risk. You don't pay the advocates unless and until they win your case. 24/7, 365, no matter where you are. theadvocates.com. Until tomorrow, Bear Bachmeier's the best freshman quarterback behind two others ever. I'm a bad person. Say goodnight, Jake.
Good night, Jake.